Is that notes?
It is. It's
Did
my
you
episode.
take notes? I'm sorry. Have I found Sasquatch? Hello, and welcome to episode 42 of the Watch It Bro podcast, or as I like to say, Marshall's Golden Episode.
You don't have to remind people how old I am.
I'm Tristan,
And I'm Marshall.
and today we're going to talk about the movie Shanghai Noon.
Yes, we are.
And
The rush hour, the Western Rush Hour is what it's called.
yes. Is it really?
But it's been called that by some.
Other than you?
Yes, it's enough to be a fun fact.
Fair enough. I accept it. And you're right. I did not have to remind people how old you are, but that'll teach you to give me gray hair on the covers. You never changed it back to the
I'm doing it subtly so people don't think you dye your hair now.
so subtly that I don't even notice it.
Wait till you see the next one.
Oh boy, I can't wait to see the next one though. That one's gonna be fun.
Yeah, this one should be fun too.
Yeah, it should. And the next one should be fun also.
I don't know what the next one is yet.
Good. That's kind of how we do it.
It is.
But let's get into the specs.
All right.
Shanghai Noon was directed by Tom Day.
I don't have any fun facts about that.
I don't have any either. I was usually like look up the people that directed and see what else they directed, but I didn't with him.
Yeah. Well,
We have the technology.
we do have the technology, and I will tell you in
He also directed Failure to Launch.
Marmaduke.
That's about it. Not a big career for this guy.
I mean, he also directed the Uncle Cracker video. Yeah.
Moving on. We have it being written by Alfred. I don't know if that's Go or Goh, but he is a very seasoned writer, writing things like
Shanghai Nights,
Spider-Man 2, the third Mummy movie, Herbie Fully Loaded, the Hannah Montana movie, Beetlejuice, to name a few. Helping him write this movie was also Miles Miller.
Are we going to say what Miles Miller did? Because we're doing that.
Yes, who also worked with Alfred on Smallville and Spider-Man 2 and Beetlejuice.
And
Wednesday, yes. Apparently they worked together quite a bit.
Looks like it.
Moving on to our starring cast. We have the always lovable Jackie Chan, who, well, let's face it, if you don't know who Jackie Chan is, you've been living under a rock.
Very true.
Fun fact.
Ooh, fun facts.
The Pokemon Hitmonchan was named after Jackie Chan.
Yes, it was.
There's only 2 people to ever get Pokemon named after them, and Jackie Chan is one of them.
And the second is Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee, correct.
And his Pokemon was Hitmonlee.
Yes, it was. Moving on, we have Owen Wilson.
Wow.
Who always kind of talks like he's, well, I don't really know what he does with his face.
I'm not sure what you were doing with yours.
It's Owen Wilson. He always talks like this. And if you notice, his mouth is always, if you do this shape of the mouth, you kind of get an Owen Wilson-esque sound coming out of your face. Wow. It works. I don't know why. I just tried it, and here we go. Maybe I'll do the whole podcast this way.
Please don't.
No, I'm pretty much done with that. I derailed. It just kind of, well, I kept going with that one for a little too long. I should have just done the one sentence, but no, I made a choice.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I definitely took it too far. But you probably remember him from such films as Meet the Parents, Night at the Museum, Around the World in 80 Days, Armageddon, Behind Enemy Lines, and he voiced Lightning McQueen in the Cars franchise.
Ka-chow!
Wow. This movie was released May 26th.
Is that all the starring cast you're going to say?
Oh, I forgot Lucy Liu. She's
Yeah.
even on the Wikipedia. I yeah. I got so wrapped up in,
Your Owen Wilson impression.
my horrible Owen, well, that's not, um, yeah, Lucy Liu. She stars in this movie, and you probably recognize her from such roles as Charlie's Angels and Charlie's Angels Full Throttle or the Kill Bill movies. But
Yep.
she got her start on Ally McBeal.
Fantastic.
Well, no, she didn't get her start on Ally McBeal. That's where she grew to fame, I guess. It says in the Wikipedia had her breakthrough role as Ling Wu in Ally McBeal.
Okay,
But
breakthrough
that,
rule, but that's not getting your start.
well, kind of when you have your breakthrough, that's kind of when you get going. But she was
Yeah.
also in Jerry Maguire before that, and well, Coach. She was Woman 3 in Home Improvement.
Ooh, I'm oddly curious about what episode.
Bachelor of the Year, the one where Al is Bachelor of the Year. I remember that
Okay.
now. Yeah, yeah,
I don't remember her, but I remember that episode.
yeah.
She's also the voice of Viper in Kung Fu Panda, as well as in a bunch of the Tinkerbell movies. Voice Silver Mist, the fairy.
Yes. Moving on. Can we move on now? This movie was released May 26, 2000. It was made on a budget of 55 million, and at the box office it did moderately well at 99.3 million, which was apparently good enough to give it a sequel.
Yeah,
I'm not really sure why, but I mean as far as performance goes in the box office.
it was the '90s. Any profit's good profit.
Yeah, 2000, that was in the 90s.
I mean, basically.
Just coming out of the 90s. Well, Marshall, shall we go on a Wild West adventure?
Yes, we shall. I think this is our third Wild West adventure.
Let's see, Maverick, the Frisco Kid, support your local sheriff,
Oh, fourth. Forgot about that one.
Manos, the Hands of Fate.
That's not a Western.
No, but it deserves mentioning.
If you haven't seen our special feature on Manos the Hands of Fate,
It's better than the movie. I can say with absolute confidence. But we start with the Touchstone logo.
Touchstone,
Touchstone. I forgot an S.
Mr. Movie Phone's cousin, Touchtone.
Shh, stop it.
Remember Mr. Movie Phone?
No.
Oh, you might have been too young. You used to have to call that to get movie times
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
in
It's like the
the
pop.
in that time, the '90s.
Yeah, I'd say with the popcorn lady.
I don't remember the popcorn lady.
At the tone, the time will be precisely 11 o'clock.
How is that the popcorn lady?
Because you called 1-800-POPCORN.
You also dialed 0. It's the operator.
No, 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 popcorn lady.
I don't think that's a thing.
Popcorn lady. Popcorn lady.
For those of you who can't see him, which is everybody, he's looking a little concerned right now. And now inquisitive.
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah, you dialed what? You dialed popcorn to get the time.
I did not know about that. Because you could also dial 0.
Yeah. Popcorn for time likely refers to the old telephone service Popcorn, which provided the current time and date when dialed. It was popular service in Northern California before being discontinued in 2007.
In Northern California?
It was a popular service in Northern California.
Could be why I never heard of it.
Yeah. So we start with the Touchstone logo, and that turns into our opening credits over some ancient Chinese scrolls,
Yeah,
I would say. It just
yeah.
kind of a bunch of writing in Chinese characters. And then we get some doors opening, and it's kind of a carriage, but it's not horses. It's people carrying that little, they got the sticks with a little box on top, and someone important sits in there.
Yeah. Not a pagoda.
No. Well, yeah, I'm not really sure what it's called.
Uh,
For those of you that can't see, Marshall is now looking it up.
see. No, it's just telling me rickshaw, but that's the one with the wheels. The box on sticks.
We see a box on sticks, and then we cut over to
Oh, let me look it up.
the Emperor's Imperial Guard. There is a lot of them, and they are in training. It reveals that we are in the Forbidden City, China. 1881 is the year this takes place. We find that in
It's
the
called it's called a
box,
litter.
a litter.
Yep, Litter.
I'm going with
The
box
litter
on
is a
sticks.
Yep, the litter is a class of wheelless vehicle, type of human-powered transport for transporting people.
All right. Well, we see that in the box on sticks being carried, we have the Empress's daughter, or as they call her, the princess,
Princess Pepe.
Princess Pepe.
Played by Lucy Liu.
Yes, I was going to say the great Lucy Liu.
Okay, played by the great Lucy Liu.
There you go. She's pretty great.
Mhm.
And everybody hits the deck and bows.
Yes, a common theme with Princess Pepe.
Yes. And as she's being carried through the Emperor's Royal Imperial Guard, we see Jackie Chan, and he sneaks a peek.
Yep, not
And
supposed to,
then
but he
he
does.
makes he's not supposed to, but he does. And she's looking right at him. So he makes eye contact, which is a big no-no apparently.
It is a big no-no.
But she doesn't seem to mind.
No, she does not. She is not one for formalities.
No. But we cut from there to her. I guess the arranged marriage is a thing happening, and she meets her husband
Betrothed.
to be betrothed, sure.
Yeah.
And she refers to him. She thinks he's a toad.
Yes. Yes.
He
She.
he's he's kind of he appears to be gluttonous
Yeah.
and
Slovenly.
yeah, not very well kempt.
Yeah. Not what she would choose for herself.
No, not what she would choose. She even she says that. She said, I don't know. No, he's a toad. I don't want him. Emperor doesn't seem to care about that very much.
Nope. He's like, this is how we do it. So buck up.
Pretty much. That's the gist of it.
Yeah.
And we cut to later that night. We have Jackie Chan's character cleaning the floors, probably because he snuck a peek at the princess.
Probably. There is
And
ramifications.
always,
Somebody saw. Somebody always sees.
they always see. And Princess Pepe is reading a book.
She is.
And she gets
It
to
is
the.
the Oh,
Go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say the book is The Princess and the Frog.
Ah, I did not get there.
Like you weren't gonna say that, or
Never occurred to me.
oh, yeah, she's reading about the Princess and the Frog, where she kisses the frog and becomes a prince, and her betrothed is a toad.
Little foreshadowing there. I have no idea.
Symbolism
Symbolism.
or symbology,
Symbology.
the study of symbols.
Nice. So she gets to they live happily ever after, and she's like, I call it shenanigans,
Yeah.
in a manner of speaking. And then
Yeah.
her handler, some
Um,
some dude, I don't know.
he is. I think he's teaching her like a tutor, teaching her English and stuff, which is why she's reading the book.
Ah, some American dude.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, some American dude.
she laments that she doesn't get a happily ever after because of her status as
Right.
Princess of China.
She just has to accept what's coming and marry the Toad Man and, be unhappy.
Yeah. And tutor guy's like, hey, that's not how it works in America. Tell you what, I got a friend in America. I could get you there and you can go live your life the way you want to. And she's like, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
And Jackie Chan's character, here's this. Should I name him now?
Uh, yeah, we should name him now.
His
Odds
name
are, odds
is,
are everybody has seen this movie who's listening.
yeah, his name is John Wayne.
Chong Wei.
Yes.
In a nod to Back to the Future.
Yeah, it's very Back to the Future-esque.
It's like you're gonna be Clint Eastwood. So he is John Wayne.
Yes. But
C
as
C C H
O-N,
CHONWANG.
yes,
John Wayne.
John Wang. But yeah, she's Princess is sneaking off John Wang
Yep.
overhears, and he goes to stop her or something. I don't know.
He
Yes,
Yeah, kinda.
he wants to go. I think he wants to go with her as like a guard.
He wants to protect her. He doesn't think she should be leaving. He's got a duty to do, like he's conflicted because he's not supposed to look at her. He's supposed to obey her. Um,
But
and
he's
he's
also not
like,
supposed to let her run away.
right, but
But
she
yeah,
tells him to go away and that she's
sh
leaving.
yeah, she pulls rank on him, and, he's kinda stuck. But she drops her book,
Yeah,
and he picks it up, and he reads it.
yeah,
And just kinda takes it.
he does. He's planning to give it back to her.
Yes. And so we get cut to the next scene, and we find out that the princess has been, quote, unquote, "kidnapped." There is a ransom note of 100,000 gold pieces to be delivered to Carson City, Nevada, in
Yeah,
America.
as the dude ushers her out of the room, he tosses this envelope on the desk,
Yeah, like, he was
and they
prepared for this.
yeah, and they find it.
Yeah. And so the emperor groups all of his royal guards together, imperial guards together, and he's like, "I will send 3 to America to retrieve or to deliver the gold and retrieve the princess." He picks 3, and John Wang just kind of invites himself along, and it
He does.
works.
He's like, "I can help too." And they're like, "Okay."
And so we cut to Nevada 7 weeks later, and we see a train. And this train is important
It is important,
because it's carrying the Emperor's Imperial Guard.
and the Emperor's imperial gold to pay off the ransom, because
That's that's right.
the Emperor is not wasting any time. He's like, "Just pay it. I don't care. Get my daughter
Just pay
back."
get my kid back. Let's move on. And so we meet Owen Wilson's character, who was going to call him Roy because his name is Roy, but I'm going to name him now, is what I was getting at.
Okay, Roy
It's Roy.
O'Bannon.
Roy O'Cannon. And he's got a little gang with him,
He
and they're going to
does.
rob the train. But there's a new guy,
There is a new guy.
and he doesn't like the new guy.
Well, at the moment, he's unsure about the new guy. He's just
He-
he's just the new guy.
He's just the new guy, and he's questioning his trusted right-hand man. Well, he's trusting his decision on bringing in the new guy.
Right, right. It's
But
like, who is this guy? He's the new guy.
but we see the Roy is the brains of this operation. He's got a whole drawing,
Oh yeah,
and
he's got this nice little drawing in crayon and everything.
he's calculated the wind resistance, and he's got it all mathed out. And then one of the guys points to the train and goes, "Is that the train?" And well, Roy crumples up his drawing and is like, "Well, we're just gonna wing it."
Roy's sad.
Ro- I don't think "sad's" quite the word for it, but Roy
he's
is
he's
Roy is
disappointed with himself.
defeated.
He's like, okay, I got this. Is that the train? It's like, okay, yeah, yeah, we're just gonna wing it. Just gonna wing it.
And we see that Chan is on the train and he's kind of off on his own reading the book that the princess dropped. He's brought it with him
Well, he's got to return the book,
to give
so
it back to her. Yes.
he's sitting on the very back of the train reading this
Yep.
thing.
He is. And then Roy
To
starts.
which I noticed when he was reading it, he gets to the end of the book and says, "And then happily ever after." He's got that thing open up halfway. It's halfway in the book. In the book, I
Sure.
don't know if there's more stories in it, but the front of the book has a frog on it, so I don't know if there would be more stories.
You're not supposed to pay that close of attention.
True. That's you can say that about a lot of movies. especially back
like Star
especially back in the day before they had people analyzing movies to death.
like Star Wars. Isn't my
And
hair
pod
supposed to be all full of muck and wet and stuff? Hey kid, it's not that kind of movie.
if they pay attention to your hair, we're in big trouble.
Did that yeah, I haven't gone back and watched it yet, but did that fix that? I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to his hair, so
Probably not.
I don't know why we do stuff like that. But we cut to Roy. Roy's well, he's robbing the train now,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, he's
he's quite polite, and he's got rules. Apparently, we don't rob attractive women.
yes, he as he's robbing two women, two little elderly women, he sees one of his guys robbing another woman. He's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! We don't rob women." It's like,
And he gives her the big ring back, and he's apologetic.
yeah,
Oh, so I'm so sorry about that. And then he starts flirting with her, and she's kind of liking it.
That's what
but
he says. Like first robbery, huh? A little excited, a little nervous. Yeah, scared. Yeah.
yeah, no, he's going
he's
for it.
he's the charmer. And I at the beginning of this, I called this the people have called it the Western Rush Hour. Um, at the moment, it's got way more. It's got a lot of similarities to the Frisco Kid, one of our other movies talked about.
It does. Yeah,
Got the outlaw driving the train, and then
the
the
traveler from afar.
the traveler from afar, and on the same train.
Yep. But one of my favorite lines, not favorite lines, but it got me laughing was when he's robbing the old ladies. He's like, "Come on, Grandma, you got anything more than yarn?"
And then immediately, we don't rob women.
And then the other guys are robbing everybody else, and he's like, "Oh, first robbery, huh?"
Yeah, yeah. He's just, and then the new guy starts getting loud and aggressive.
Yeah, and so I say, Roy has a code. He has he's some kind of moral compass because he's like, "Yeah, let's make it, let's not hurt people."
Yeah, yeah. Also, I mean, not to just keep adding on to the scene, but when they first come in, the new guy just starts yelling at people, and Roy's like, "No, no, no! I do the talking. You just be quiet and do the thing."
Right.
So this is
Yeah.
and this is the Roy show, and he's just got backup.
Yeah, yeah. New guy does not know his role in this robbery, and that becomes apparent later because, and we glossed over it, that John Chan's uncle comes with.
Yeah, yeah. The three guard, John Wayne, and his uncle.
Yep. And so we get his uncle, Sean's uncle, comes into the car with tea.
Yeah, he's got his little teapot. I think he's looking for more water.
Yeah. And he's interacting with Roy, and Roy's telling him to,
Be cool.
yeah, just go back to where he was. And actually, the uncle is like, "Oh no, I'm clearly interrupting something. I'll just be on my way."
Yeah, he's trying to nope out of this. It's like, oh wait, oh I walked into something. I'll just go back.
And then new guy shoots him.
Yeah, yeah, just straight up. The gun goes off. You hear he drops, um, and
And
he just says, "What? I'm winging it."
and then Roy revokes his winging it privileges
Yes,
because
and
Roy is not happy with this
no,
situation
he's like he's
development.
talking to his guy. Who's this? Where'd you get him? He's like, he's from Texas.
Taxes. Ah.
Yeah, you don't get people from Texas. They're insane.
Apparently. Disclaimer right now, we do not agree with that statement. That is just an implication that the movie made. I know quite a few people from Texas and currently in Texas, and they are all wonderful, lovely people. Hats off to the people from Texas. Shut up, Marshall. But the robbers move along because they got stuff to do because they got a safe to break into.
Yep.
John Wayne comes back in and asks where his uncle is. Other Imperial guards point him in that direction. He goes into the follows their directions and then sees his uncle is dead and is like, "Who did this?" And the lady that Roy was flirting with sells him out pretty quick.
Yeah, she's like, "Who killed my uncle?" I mean, yeah, the robber's kinda cute, but they shot somebody. He dead.
Yeah,
And it's
no,
his
I
uncle.
yeah. And so John is going to avenge his uncle,
He's gonna do what Jackie Chan does best.
avenge people.
Yeah, in a martial arty kinda way.
Yes,
But these guys do have a decent plan for
they do. Kind of.
robbing the train. Well, they unhook the passenger cars,
Yes.
and then they're gonna continue on to blow the safe up.
Yeah.
Um, but John sees it and was able to jump over to the still moving car because they're on the part with the engine.
They are. Yeah, yeah. And so he makes the leap successfully. Now, I have a question.
Okay,
I'm not super familiar with trains from the 1880s.
okay,
Are they really that easy to disconnect cars from while it's moving? Because you would think there would be a lot of tension on that pin
yeah,
to keep it from coming out. And then once it stops, everything kind of compacts because of the brakes and the force. And so that would relieve all the tension so you could pull out pins as you needed to.
yeah. I'm not entirely sure.
it seems like you're you're pulling a bunch of cars that would create a significant amount of tension on those pull pins. They would not be easy to pull out.
True.
The mechanism could easily have been that simple. Could we? I mean, we if you look at tow hitches and whatnot, it pretty much is
Yeah.
because the application of the force from pulling something is going to keep so much pressure on that it ain't going to go nowhere. I don't know if you ever tried to pull a pin out of a tow hitch on a hill, but it ain't going nowhere. Are you Googling that?
Yeah. Oh, hang on. 80s train. Okay. So uncoupling a moving train in the 1880s would have been possible depending on the coupling mechanism and whether the couplers were under tension or compression. So if depending on where the train is, if I mean they're moving at the same rate, it's possible they got it wasn't fully pulled on tension, like it's starting to
Okay.
catch up with it. So it could be at a good point for that. And it looks like it was definitely easier than more modern trains. Those take special tools. It's not impossible, it says, but it would have been easier back in the 1880s
Okay.
to do it by hand, and depending on, like, if the train's going kind of going up an incline, you're probably not going to get it with the amount of tension on those cars. But if you're going downhill,
It
where the
probably would relieve that tension.
yeah
Okay. That makes sense. So we're back to Chon being in pursuit of our criminals.
yeah
He catches up with them. Roy is up by the safe, getting ready to blow it.
yeah he is. Again, this is the Roy show, so he tells the others to kind of loot the mail car and the luggage compartment while he goes to take care of the safe.
Yeah. So Roy straps dynamite to the safe. Chon confronts our thieves.
Yep, Texas and the two other guys.
Yep. And then we kind of get a fun little acrobatics from Jackie Chan
Yes, we do.
and a fun little scene where they're trying to shoot him on top of the train.
Yeah, he scurries out the window and climbs on top, and is avoiding being shot.
Yep, and then he jumps to the next car forward, the safe car, as Roy is coming back into the mail car. And Roy
Yeah.
walks in and sees them all shooting at the ceiling, and he's like, "What are we doing, guys?
What's going on?
What's this about?"
He's like, "Why'd you bring this new guy?"
Yeah, no kidding.
He's like, "This is messing everything up. I bet it's that guy."
Yeah, it seems like his previous train robberies have gone a whole lot smoother than this one.
Yeah, yeah. It seems we're in a place that's not he's not familiar with. Things are going sideways. Fun fact too: the new guy is played by an actor, Walter Goggins, who has been fairly popular in the last few years.
I haven't seen him in anything. What was he in?
He was in Ant-Man and the Wasp. He's been in White Lotus. He did, I believe, voices for Grand Theft Auto 5.
Okay.
He was he was in The Big Bang Theory. His wife was dating Raj.
That doesn't narrow it down.
No, in the show, his wife was dating Raj, and he was sad about it. He kept visiting him at the planetarium, and they became friends.
I have no recollection of that plot line. Whatsoever.
Really?
Absolutely none.
Oh yeah, Raj and him went to go get brunch, and she thought it was weird.
Nope.
Anyway, yeah, that's it. I just pointed it out.
Okay. So back to the movie. We we get Chon, he's trying to deal with the safe, realizes he can't stop it from blowing up.
Yeah,
He
so
he ducks for cover.
well, he's pulled all the dynamite off the safe that it was wrapped around it, and kicks it underneath the safe,
And
and then runs for it.
then it blows and it launches the safe clean out of the train and down into the river below.
Yes, leaving a trail of money floating through the air.
Not what was planned.
No, no, John Wayne. John is John's pulling a McLean,
Yeah.
being a thorn in the side of these robbers.
Yes. But then we get another confrontation between robbers and John.
Mhm.
We get a little bit of fighting.
We do.
Roy is extremely impressed with his abilities.
He is. He is. He's like, I didn't see nothing like this before. Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
They're on top of the log truck, and does Texas have a? We'll call Texas is like, hey man, I'll help you out. Let me just release all these logs,
Yeah,
and he does.
he grabs the lever, undoes the chain, and lets it go. In Texas, his
Yeah,
name is Wallace.
Wallace. But Sean and Roy both survive this clear lapse in judgment.
Yeah, it's a Western scene out of Final Destination.
Yep, nice reference.
Thank you.
But then Sean pulls the pin for the cart ahead and um, leaves Roy and Wallace to fend for themselves.
Yeah, he's basically on the coal car at this point of the. So it's the engine of the coal car taking off, leaving these 4 or 5 cars by themselves.
Yep. And Roy does not look pleased.
He does not look pleased.
And Wallace turns on him. Because,
Yeah, he looks less pleased when Wallace turns on him.
yes, he does.
He's like, "It's my gang now." Sorry,
Pretty much.
Roy.
He's like, this is how it's going to go. I run the show now. I'm done with the Roy show.
Yeah, he liked
But
winging
then,
it his way.
yes, he did. But then we cut to the princess in America with her handler, I guess you'd call him.
I
Bodyguard?
handler, handler, trafficker. We find out right quick.
We found out we find out before she gets there.
Yeah,
'Cause, yeah, she's asking some questions, and dude's like, "Yeah, no, my friend, he helps Chinese immigrants get back on their feet." And she's kinda looking around and like, "Oh, okay, great." And I'm going, "Nope, that's not a good deal."
that is not a good deal.
And so she goes in and she realizes that she recognizes the man that is the friend, and she protests because he is a traitor, and then she turns to her handler, trafficker,
Trafficker. Yeah.
and she's like, "He's a traitor. We need to." Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, she
yeah,
pieces it together a little late.
yeah. And she hits him.
Yeah.
That's okay.
The guy's name is Lo Fang.
Lo Fang, yes. I don't know the handler's name, but apparently they had a whole arrangement, and it was, yeah, they had this all set up and planned, which is why he had the ransom note.
Yeah.
Um, Lo Fang tells him that his money is on the table. He picks up his money and he goes, fun fact, pulls out his gun and says, "You're actually going to give me twice as much." And Lo Fang is not even phased by a gun being pulled on him, and he's just like, "I get you're American, but let me tell you something about the Chinese people." And then he quickly disarms him and starts choking him and says, "We do not negotiate," and then kills him dead.
Yeah.
All the way dead.
All the way dead. He takes him out. He gets to keep his money.
Yeah, yeah. Which, and it's funny, we were watching that. Rachel's like, "Should have just take your money and left."
Yeah. That's the thing with most bad guys in movies and media though. They're not content with what their first original deal is.
Yeah, we saw that in in the Mummy Returns. We see that now.
Yeah.
If you
Always
just,
wanted more.
yeah, if you just stick with what you got, be good to go. But we cut to Roy, and we see that Roy is lamenting to some friends of his about how his train robbery has gone south.
Yeah, yeah. He's visiting a Madame Orr establishment
He's hanging out with some friends.
at a bordello.
Bordello, that's a PG way of saying what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I called it a sorority at one point.
Dancing girls.
A dancing hall.
But yeah, he's lamenting to these 3 ladies who obviously know him. He's been there before.
Like I said, they're friends of his.
Yeah.
And one starts biting his ear. And then we realize that he is buried with in the desert with just his head sticking out, and that is a buzzard
Yeah.
nibbling
It
his
is
ear.
a great transition because you're thinking like, when's the last time we saw Roy? How did he get out of that? Maybe they just kicked him out of the group and what? Like, oh,
Yeah, I assumed that they held him at gunpoint. Uh, they took the money and ran and just left him
yeah.
stranded. for the law to get him, and he ran away. But no, he's buried up to his head.
He's like, the vultures are eating my face.
Yeah, and then we get a shadowy figure approach,
We do.
and it is Sean.
Yes, their paths cross again.
Yes, and Sean wants to know how to get to Carson City.
Yes, because
Roy
that's
wants
that's
to
what he heard the guy say. Carson
right.
City,
That's where
Princess
he
Pepe.
believes the Princess Pepe is, and Roy wants to get dug out. Seems like they each have something the other wants, and they can each help each other out.
Yes.
So Roy, in good faith, tells Sean that Carson City is just on the other side of the mountains over yonder.
Yep.
Now dig him out. And Sean leaves him a couple chopsticks and goes on his way.
Yeah, he puts them in his mouth. It's like, here you
And,
go, dig yourself out.
yep, and starts walking.
It's like, no, no,
And
no, don't drop those. You're gonna need them here.
yeah, Roy protests and drops the chopsticks. And Sean nicely comes back and puts it back in his mouth and says, "Dig, don't talk."
Yeah, it's like, I got you. Here you go.
Then we get a little bit of a travel montage.
A harrowing travel montage. It's like he's following the Fellowship of the Ring through Mordor.
One ring to rule them all.
Because I mean, he's got to the mountains. It's snowy. He's not having a good time.
He's climbing it. We
Yeah.
see him on the top of the mountain. He's a little chilly. And then eventually he finds water
Yes, down on the other side.
and natives.
Yes, he does.
And he sees that there are two dudes on horseback.
Yeah, we find out they're Crow.
Yes. And they're chasing a young Sioux child. And so he decides to get involved.
Well, yeah, he's a good guy, and you see a kid getting chased, you're like, well, I better step in, especially because I know kung fu.
Yeah. And so we get an epic and familiar Jackie Chan fight scene.
We do, which is, I Jackie Chan is one of my favorite martial artists because he always throws his acting into it as well, and a lot of times, I mean, you can he puts the pain into it when he falls and stuff, but he's precise yet clumsy with it in a way.
Yeah, kind of like
I
I
mean,
forget
he
I don't know what the style of martial arts is called, but
drunken
it's like
boxing.
yes, yeah, drunken
Yes,
boxing.
yeah.
It's
He.
very
I mean,
much like
he's.
that's incorporated into it for sure.
I mean, that's one of his more famous movies, Drunken Boxer.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna
it's
say,
part of his style. So it's always fun to see him because he's getting hurt and but still continuing it. Yeah, he's one of my favorite martial artists.
he might be my favorite
Yeah.
to watch with what he does, and we get, I mean, the fact that he uses whatever's around him, incorporates that, and makes weapons out of it.
Oh yeah, grabbing the trees, pulling the branches back.
Yeah, just incorporating his surroundings and to help him out.
Yeah,
But
there's the one of my favorite bits of the whole fight scene is when the because he takes care of the first two that show up and about four more show up on horseback and they throw the tomahawks at him and they both stick into trees. He's like, okay, I got this. He grabs both of them and he's gonna go at them and he throws them. And the one of the crow guys just grabs it out of the air and tosses it to his friend. Then grabs the other one. They come at him still.
yeah, just catches it right up, and
Yeah.
you see his face. He's just like, "Uh oh."
Yeah. 1 second he's like, okay, I got this. He's got two weapons. Like, let's end this. And it's like, oh, they're still coming.
So they caught it. Oh no!
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not just him fighting. It's him trying to escape with this child as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. He's trying to
And so
escape with the child, protect the child, get these guys down so they can just move on. And
there's more than one thing going on.
yeah.
Now, fun fact:
Okay.
a couple of them here.
Ooh.
Jackie Chan has always done his own stunts.
Yes.
So everything you see Sean Wayne doing, that is all Jackie Chan. There is no stunt double. He does them all.
Yes.
That's fun fact number one. Fun fact number two, Jackie Chan is 51 years old in this movie.
Yeah. He's in much better shape than we are.
I'm like, I have trouble getting off the floor at 38, and this guy's doing all that at 51.
Yeah.
I don't really have trouble getting up off the floor. It just, it's a long way down there.
Way to backpedal.
Anyway, they make their escape.
Yeah. Well,
Kind of. He's
he grabs a. It looks like a leg of a dead animal because it's the bones and everything.
yeah.
Kid is behind him, and he's like, "Ah," about to keep going to fight, and they all stop and run away, and he's like, "Oh, nice. I did it. I scared him off."
Yeah. And then he turns around and he sees what appears to be the entire tribe
Yeah, yeah.
behind him, and he's like, "Oh
It's
no."
all along the hill, um, like
Reminds me of
Joseph's tribe
Maverick.
from Maverick, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so he runs again,
Yeah, he puts himself in front of, between him and the kid and is planning to keep fighting, it looks like.
but it turns out he doesn't need to,
No.
because this is the kid's family.
Yeah,
And the kid tells the chief that he took out 6 crow barehanded,
yeah,
and that gets him invited back for a party.
yeah, yeah, they're having a celebration because he saved the kid's life.
Yeah, and he is trying to ask them how to get to Carson City, and they don't know what he's saying because apparently they don't speak English.
Yeah, no, these w they don't seem to speak English, because they he's sitting around the fire with 2 of the 2 of the guys on either side of him, and they're talking to each other behind him or in front of him, and he's like, he's getting louder, like we're gonna understand better.
Yeah, yeah. He's saying it slower as if that'll help us
Yeah.
understand what he's saying. So, and yeah, they spend a good portion just making fun of him,
Mhm. And
and
they
then
say, "Give him the peace pipe, maybe that'll shut him up."
yeah, and so well, he smokes the peace pipe, and there's some stuff in there.
Yep, we get a little happy Jackie Chan montage.
I was gonna say he does get, he starts get, you can see him getting sillier.
Yeah. And then he passes out, and one of the guys smells the pipe, he's like, "Oh, this is some strong stuff."
Yeah, yeah. I have in my notes. He smokes the peace pipe, then pieces out,
Yep.
and then we wake up the next day, and there's a hand on him, and it's not his hand,
Nope.
and her other hand is not between 2 pillows. But he
No, it's
gets up
not.
and he walks out of his tent, and like the whole tribe is just there waiting for him, and they cheer, and he runs back in.
Yeah, yeah, they're happy for him. Yeah.
He gets dressed and comes back out, and then his lady friend comes back out after.
Yeah, and the chief is wearing his shirt.
I didn't catch that. But apparently they got married. He
Yep.
married the daughter of the chief,
Yes, he did.
and he seems okay with it. Seems happy about it. And then after he leaves, he seems not so happy about it.
He's conflicted.
Conflicted. And one of his buddies comes up to him and says, "Hey, at least it's not a white guy."
Yeah,
The kid.
yeah, yep. John's confused too. I mean, he's the chief puts their hands together and raises up. He's like, "Oh no, wait!" It's like, "Oh
Oh
no!"
no. No, no.
And the chief tells her that it's her responsibility to look after him.
Yes. And now we cut back to the princess.
Yes.
And she's she's not happy. And she's got a bit of an attitude. Lo Fong brings her food, said, "I thought you might be hungry," and then she smacks it to the floor and says, "Oh, you were wrong." And Lo Fong essentially reveals his whole plan of how he wants some gold to do stuff. His goal is the Emperor's gold.
Yeah, he wants to be rich. They're the
Yeah,
100,000 gold pieces.
that ought to do it.
Yep. A brand new
And
country like America. Yeah, that'll take care of him.
yeah, that for life. And we see that she can fight a little bit,
Hmm. Yep. She's
and
been a little trained.
a little bit, and not good enough
No,
to
he's been a
take
lot
on.
trained.
Yeah, well, he's a former emperor or imperial guard, so
Yeah,
probably has a little more field experience.
just a little bit.
And yeah, quickly disarms her and tells her that she's going to go out into the quarry to work.
Yeah, it's time for you to meet your people. Come on.
Yep. And then we get some random scene with a really kind of awful prospector guy that I don't really see serve much of a purpose except to make a few kind of awful jokes.
Yeah, I mean, it was letting us know that the other Imperial guards are still out there and moving to try and get the princess back, but
It does
they're
not age well.
no, I mean, they're traveling with a prospector family that is offensive. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. It's just kinda like the guy's talking and you're like, "Ooh, no." And then he says something else, you're like, "Oh, that got worse." Then he says
Yeah.
something else, you're like, "Gee." Then the
May
scene ends, you're like, "W why?"
may have been an attempted reference at Frisco Kid.
Might have been. It was it,
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
letting us know the Imperial Guard are still out there moving away or
Yes.
moving on their trek.
Right. But John gets to town.
Yep.
His
Oh,
wifey what?
they gave him a horse too.
They did give him a horse with handprints on its butt.
Yep.
But now he gets to the next town, wifey stays behind.
Yep. She's like, I'm not going in there. Those guys suck.
Yeah. Well, and he still has all of his face painting on
He does.
because
Which,
they painted his face while he was asleep.
yeah. Or he was awake at the time, or just out of it.
Yeah. But yeah, he gets there and his horse tries to follow him into the saloon. He doesn't figure out how to tie the horse to the hitching post.
But he tells it to stay, and it
Tells it
sits.
and it sits. He gets it to sit. Everyone laughs at him. Then he walks into the saloon. He's still wearing his traditional Chinese
He's wearing part of it with
part of it with some Native American
Sue.
suit over it.
Yeah, some Sue garb over it because
Right.
his father-in-law has his overshirt that he had, the purple one,
Right. So
and
yeah,
now he's
he's
got I don't know if it's porcupine quills or small bones, but it's kind of the almost like an armor piece. It looks like.
yeah. But you get the classic guy walks into a bar, the music stops, the murmurs stop. We see that Roy is there.
Yeah, Roy's at a poker table.
Chan does not recognize Roy right off the bat.
Well, he pulls his hat down too. He's like, oh, "I'm not dealing with this."
Yeah. Chan does not get treated well.
He does not.
Gets thrown out.
Yeah. After
And
he
then
cleans up his face, which I love this scene. He sees himself. He gets him to the bar and asks if it's Carson City, and the bartender's like, "No, get out."
no. But yeah, we don't you better go somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Is the
and he
gist
sees
of
his
it.
reflection in the mirror behind the bar, and he sees his all he's all face painted up, and he looks over, and there's a shot of probably whiskey,
Yeah.
pretty maybe just a glass of whiskey. It's sizable cup. But
Yeah.
anyways, dips his fingers in it and starts wiping his face off. He
And then
dips it
starts
back in a couple times.
he smells it and he goes, "What's that?" And then some guy grabs it and drinks it and he's like, "Oh."
Yeah, just little beats. It's like
Yeah. The subtlety in Jackie Chan's acting, I think, is what makes him so endearing.
yeah. But at this point, he gets ejected by two guys, and this is where he sees Roy, and Roy kind of waves at him like he sent the guys over to get him. Like, hey, just get rid of that guy.
Yeah. And then he barges back in,
Yep.
causes a bit of a fuss. Then we
And
see
I always like it too when Jackie Chan's like, okay, let's in any of his movies or roles, like it's down to business. He's got that confidence in him at this point. He's like, okay, I'm ready for this now.
yeah, you can see the change in him. And so yeah, he goes back in, starts a little bit of a makes a little bit of a ruckus. Gets knocked over, sees Roy. They have a
Yeah.
little reunion. Um Sean accidentally exposes Roy's cheating.
Yeah, yeah, he grabs his wrist, and he's got one of those card contraptions on his wrists, and it for cheating at cards, and it pops out of his wrist, and Roy's like, "Oh." You're gonna have to edit that. Oops. um,
For those of you who don't know what's going on, Marshall just said a bad word.
you're gonna leave that in?
Yeah,
Ah.
that's why we're laughing.
So so John grabs
I
Roy's
haven't heard
wrist.
you say that word in years, since we were kids.
Thanks.
That's a weird sentence.
Uh, but anyway, Roy's cheating device pops out, and he's like, "What are you doing? The heck are you doing?" I don't know.
There you go.
I got caught up in it. Oops.
It happens.
I've made you say that a few times.
haven't said it in a long, long time.
Uh-huh.
I haven't.
Oh, where were we? But yeah, Roy tells John to get his hands off him, and
And now the poker players are mad at Roy, and so we get another fight scene.
and it's great because Roy and John are fighting each other, and they're also fighting everybody else.
Right. It's quite a comical scene.
The choreography in this is is really good too.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, John punches Roy, Roy punches John, then they punch the guys that are coming at them, then they punch each other again.
Punch one guy together,
Yeah.
or no, because John punches at Roy. Roy catches it. Another guy's coming up, so like Roy like throws his fist at the other guy's face.
Hmm.
Great. It's yeah, super creative. But yeah, we get another fight scene that takes quite a while, and then
Yeah. Jackie
the,
Chan does his thing with
the
great
moose antlers.
yeah, improvised weapons is one of his go-to moves. And it's always a good time. I mean, yeah, the moose antlers.
Yeah, and I like how in his fight scenes he's never invincible.
Yeah, he's getting hit a lot.
Yeah.
And then at some point, Roy stops fighting and watches him a little bit. He's like, "Oh
Yeah,
man,
you get about halfway through, and Roy is just like cheering him on instead.
yeah,
He's just kind of standing like in the middle of the bar, watching everything go down, and he's like, get him, come on!" But
yeah." But then John gets back to where Roy was, and then he grabs Roy, and Roy's back in
they,
the fight.
yep, yep, and then the sheriff and deputy come in and put a stop to it. And who started this? And Roy and Sean are both like, he did. No, he did.
Yeah,
And
it's a
well,
very
they
very great. I mean, he's got the shotgun. He shoots it into the ceiling, and bits of the debris fall on the fall on the deputy. It's like, sorry.
but they get arrested.
Oops. Yeah, they get arrested and put in jail.
Yep.
Oh,
And
give
so
me
now they're in jail. So they're in jail, and John wants his book.
yes, they took his book from him.
Took his book. He
It
wants the
seems to
book
be the
back.
only thing they took from him, but that seems to be the only thing he had.
Yeah. So John starts making a scene.
Yeah,
Roy finally gets him to just chill and relax for a minute. Just calm down. Just
yeah.
settle.
The guy from the West without any accent whatsoever. He's not even trying for an accent. He's just Owen Wilson.
It's funnier that way.
It is.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, dude, just you're wound so tight. Just calm down, relax for 10 minutes, chill, and
Yeah.
if you still need to yell after this, I'll yell with you. But just stop for for 5 minutes.
Yeah, just
Just
great.
relax.
And then so then he does sit down and he's like, all right, see, yeah, this is good.
Relax now.
Now talk to me. What's going on? And so Roy learns the plot of the movie.
Yes, and he also is impressed. He says he's impressed by the kung fu and the fighting too.
Yeah, and John still got the stone face, and he's like, trying to pay you a compliment here. Like, you're fighting. It's great. I've never seen it before.
Doing pretty good with the Owen Wilson impersonation.
Thank you. Wow. I don't care if it sounds good. It's just funny to me.
It is.
So once Roy realizes the plot of the movie and how much money is involved, he's like, "We gotta get you out of here. We gotta get that book back."
Yeah, yeah. He got looped into everything. The princess, the money, the ransom, all of it. And
Oh yeah, it's
Roy is totally on board. And the sum of the money too. He's like, wait,
yeah,
that was on the train?
yeah,
On the
yeah.
back
No,
half of the train?
yeah, yeah. He is very much like, we need to do this.
I
We
need to help you solve your mission and get some of that gold.
yeah, we gotta go save the princess. I don't know why he sounded like Minnesota from there, but we gotta go save the princess. That's where Roy arrived, and
Yeah.
John has an epiphany
Yep.
and pees on his shirt, and you get a great scene right here where he pees on the shirt and he's like, if you get it wet, it won't break. And he goes, here, hold this, and Roy's like, no,
No, no, you
yuck,
hold it.
you hold
Yeah.
it, your shirt.
Like he's like, dude, what are you doing? He's peeing on the shirt on the floor.
Yeah. and then he wraps it around the bars, and then uses a stick to twist it and bends the bars
Yeah.
so they can get through. We also get a little
He's
bit
like, "Wait,
of
wait, wait, what?"
he's
You said wet shirt don't
Roy's
break, not pea shirt bend bars.
yeah. Yeah, no, Roy is thoroughly impressed by this. But during this time, we also get a quick cut clip hint that Wifey is also mounting her escape.
Yeah, yeah, you see a couple clips of her roping up some cattle and, moving around outside on a horse and tying a rope to the window,
Yep. Yep,
which
Wifey's doing her thing.
this jail was not built as well as the one from Support Your Local Sheriff.
Right. Well, they didn't have Joe Danby helping him set them bars in.
No. Also, it's made of wood and not brick.
Also, also true.
Which which tells me that this jail was built in a hurry in an
Out of
upcoming town.
necessity. Yeah.
Yes.
They had a lot of crime, and they had a sheriff who did something about it.
Yes, yes, they did.
But anyway, we get the Wifey's plan goes underway. She rips the back half of the jail completely off. And then
As
they have
these 2 have gone through the first set of bars into a holding area, and
yes,
Sean's like, "The shirt's too dry, you're gonna have to pee on this, to get it."
and we find out that Roy is a little bit shy, and John offers him some encouragement. Anyway, she rips the back of the jail off. They're like, "Oh, we got to go back that way." And then the sheriff comes through, and John beats up the sheriff, steals his keys. They run out. They hop on the horse, and they ride off into the distance.
Yep.
It's a great scene. It's a great scene.
He's like, "Who's that?" It's like, "Oh, it's my wife." It's
Yeah,
like, "How long have you been in this country?" "4 days."
good for you. Wow. I think we actually get a wow there.
Wow.
We get a couple wows in this movie. That's I appreciate it. But we cut to the next day, and John is struggling to get his horse saddled.
Yep.
Roy, quote unquote, agrees to take him to Carson City, even though he's never asked.
Yeah, I mean, very similar to,
Frisco Kid.
Frisco Kid Harrison Ford's like, "All right, I'll take you. You'll
Don't.
die if I don't. We'll
Yeah.
do it.
Hey, if you're insist, you know, if I got you, yeah.
I gotta.
You,
Your wife's not always gonna be here. She's gone.
yeah, she's just kind of in and out. It's okay.
She's in the background watching him and helping him out."
Yeah. But then we cut to Wallace, right?
Yep, Wallace.
He shows up at the town. He's behind that Roy and Sean just left, and he learns that Roy is not dead, and that he is got a new traveling companion who they have nicknamed the Shanghai Kid.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, "No, Roy O'Bannon's dead. What are you talking about?" It's like, he's not dead. He and the Shanghai Kid just broke out of jail last night.
Yeah, no, stuff's going down, and then we get Roy dressing up Sean like a cowboy,
Yep.
and he's like, "Well, I got to show you some stuff," and we get this very fun montage. First
We
of
get
all, we learn that Roy is not a good shot.
a No, he is not.
Secondly, we learn that Wifey is a good shot.
Yeah, because she shows back up and starts helping with this montage.
Yes, and then they play.
Yeah. Oh, and we get this montage set to uh, Kid Rock's Cowboy,
Yes, we do.
which it's a fun choice.
Oh, it works. It totally works.
It does work. I mean, sometimes you get modern songs and put into period piece movies, and it seems odd and out of place. This one actually works.
Yeah, it fit surprisingly well because it started off, and I'm like, "This Cowboy by Kid Rock,"
You're like, "I know this song."
and then it stops, and you're like, "Huh." And then it starts because I like the way they did that actually with the music because they start the intro and then they have a talking bit and then it's back to the music montage and then they talk a little bit
Yeah.
and then it busts into the whole montage and you get just it just it, they just had fun. I don't think there was really any direction in that montage of just kind of how would these characters act right now
Yeah.
and
What would they teach each other?
just go. And yeah, the three of them are just they look like they're having a really fun time playing limbo and whatnot. But
And shooting
Armand,
poorly.
And yeah, and our montage wraps up, and we cut to Carson City, and they're riding in, and Roy teaches Sean that you look at people and you tip your hat and you say, "Howdy, partner,"
Yep.
and it doesn't work. Everyone looks absolutely terrified by them, and then we find out why. They are on wanted posters. 500 for Roy, 1,000 for Sean.
Yes, and Roy is incensed by this because Sean
He's
is clearly the sidekick.
clearly the sidekick. And he's got a cool name,
Yes,
a cool nickname, which Roy does not.
but a lot of times sidekicks are better than um, the hero they're with, like the Green Hornet and Kato,
Yogi and Boo Boo.
Lone Ranger and Tonto, Arnie over Fred.
Trying to think of more. I can't come up with any.
Yeah, well that petered out.
Yeah, pretty quickly. Uh,
We had a couple good
but
ones.
but yeah, the sheriff shows up. He's got a posse, and they get cornered in the store. I believe that's the general store they're in.
Yeah, and this is the marshal
Sure. I thought
that
you
had
said
shown.
sheriff.
This is the marshal that has shown up, Marshal Van Cleef.
You would know better than I did, even though I took notes.
Fun fact: the name of the marshal is a nod to Lee Van Cleef, who was in a bunch of the spaghetti westerns back in the uh, 60s and 70s. Most notably, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, where he was
Okay.
the bad on the poster. So
That's a
there's a
fun
fun fact
fact.
for you. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like the name play in this movie with a few of with the characters and stuff like that.
I do too. But Sean definitely doesn't understand what's going on because he's like, "Oh, we just go out and talk to him. It'll be fine."
Yeah,
And Roy's like, "Yeah, you go do that. Go ahead."
yeah.
So he does, and he gets shot at, and he runs and he goes, "Why are they shooting at me?" And Roy clearly did not explain what it meant to be on a wanted poster correctly, beyond the fact of like it drives girls crazy for you.
Right, right. It's like, oh no, this is a good thing, right? And then now he's learning that, oh, you're wanted, you're a bad guy. He's like, no, I'm a good guy, you're a bad guy. It's like, no, well now we're both bad guys.
And so
I don't
that leads Sean to get mad at Roy, and then they fight again.
Yeah, I don't want to keep making comparisons to the Frisco Kid, but there's quite a few in this one. You made
There
me a
are,
bank robber.
yeah, it's very. There's a lot of borrowed,
I'll
influenced.
say homages,
Yeah,
borrowed. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, this it feels similar to that too, where I'm associated with you, so now I'm a bad guy too.
yeah, and yeah. So they fight again, and Roy gets thrown through a window, and the rest of the posse goes around back.
To make sure no one's escaping.
Right. They don't pull the saddle over their eyes. So we got the situation as it stands is we got Roy and the marshal looking like they're gonna face off. We got Chon sneaking out the back and is confronted by three men. And
I want to put a little asterisk on that too, really quick, because Roy's out front. He's like, "Whoa, you wouldn't shoot an unarmed man, would you?" And
oh
John's like,
yes.
"I got you," and he throws his guns out to him. He's like, "There you go, fight with honor. You will win."
Yeah, he's helping.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it seemed like it wasn't gonna go down. Briefly, he's like, "Okay, you're unarmed. I'll just take you in." But the gun shows up. He's like, "Okay, I'm gonna shoot you now."
Now it's a duel. First
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
just getting arrested.
Put your gun on it. We're gonna duel now.
Yep, then Chon runs out the back.
Yep.
And now is facing three men.
Yes. And we get a really cool fight where he ties a horseshoe to a rope. I can never
Yes.
remember the name of the weapon, but it's where you wrap the rope up with your arms and legs, and you kick it, and and the metal piece on the end flies like a spear almost, or a harpoon.
Yeah.
Fun fact about this: they tried doing it with a fake horseshoe, like plastic or rubber or something, but it didn't have the weight of a real horseshoe, so they had to use a real one. But Jackie Chan refused to actually hit any of the stunt guys. Like, no, that's too dangerous. So he did everything he could to just kind of get it as close as he could and make it work. So that was an actual horseshoe on that thing.
Yes. Yes, because spoilers, there's blooper reel at the end of the movie. And you can see he makes a mistake and hits himself with it, and he's like, "Oh,
And he always, even when he gets hurt, he plays up the comedic part of it because if you make the crew laugh, they don't freak out as much.
yeah."
It's like, oh. Rubs his nose. Which, I mean, we're not at the end yet, but I miss blooper reels and stuff in movies.
I do too. Anyway, we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Chon takes out the three guys in the posse. Roy is doing all he can to delay this duel because he knows he's a horrible shot.
Yeah, slowly putting on his belt, and then he starts stretching. It's
Stretch.
like, "What are you doing? I'm limbering up. Come on, man."
And then he's got this weird stance. What do you do? What do you stand like that for? He goes, "Hey, you do it your way, I'll do it my way. Let's just do this thing." And then Sean comes in and saves the day, as Roy was banking on, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah, he was stalling enough time for Sean to come around, and what an entrance! He comes running around, yells at Roy to get down, and then throws a one of the marshals or the deputies' badges like a ninja star
Yeah. And it
or like a
sticks into his
shuriken, and
hand.
just it spins and sticks into his hand, and then he clocks him.
Yep. And they run.
They need a place to lay low
Yep.
to hide in.
Yep. And then we cut back to the princess to see what she's up to, and she's out working now, carrying rocks.
Yep.
And Lo Fong
Bad
is
guys had
like,
enough of her, and
"Yep, yep, you were gonna get treated decently. Now you're not." And yeah, he's like, "Hey, you're gonna stay here and you're gonna work. And if you escape, I'm gonna kill one person every hour until you're found. And I'm gonna start with this lady right here."
and then he knocks her over
And he knocks her over. And then,
because he's a jerk.
yep. And then she helps the old lady up, and the lady's like, "I know who you are. Don't tell anybody."
Yeah, basically, don't tell anybody. We don't want people freaking out, losing their
It
mind, or
it wouldn't be good.
no, no,
So
would
we
not.
cut back to Roy and Chan,
Ugh.
and they are hiding out in a um at a friend's house.
At the aforementioned bordello from the dream sequence earlier.
Yes, the aforementioned bordello from the dream sequence earlier.
Yes, aforementioned. Now he's
And
talking
now
with his friends
Roy
that he
and
knows.
yeah, and Roy and Sean are having a bath
Yes,
because they've had a long day.
they have had a
And
long day.
they're relaxing. Sean is scrubbing his hair, and Roy suggests they play a drinking game.
Yeah, because Sean's still mad at Roy.
Sean is still mad at Roy. And they agree to play Sean agrees to play a drinking game, just one though. And then we cut to they're clearly had more than one. And they are just into it. And
Yep.
they are playing round after round.
One more. Let's go.
Yep. And then the drinking game winds down, and they start having a heart to heart. And it gets a little too real, I guess, for
For Roy.
Roy.
Yeah.
And he's like, "How about we do one more game?" And Sean's like, "No more games." And then it cuts to them back at the game.
In the same tub.
Well, that's see, and then you get was it Fifi walks in and she's like, Roy, you're late." And then that's when we pan to see that they are in the same tub.
Yeah, yeah, they have continued drinking, and they are now in the same tub. Uh, Chan is not very good at the game, or at least he's drunk more than or drunken. He's had more to drink than Roy has.
Yes, he is clearly more inebriated than Roy is,
Yes.
and Roy is now having some he's getting a back massage from Fifi, and she's asking about his new partner. And, well, he says some not very nice things to kind of be done with the conversation and move on to something else.
Yes, he's had enough of deep conversation. He doesn't want to look at himself anymore, and he's just like, yeah, he's a meal ticket at the moment. But
Basically,
it ends to a mean. Just keep rubbing my back. Thank you.
a means to an end.
A means to an end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Sean overhears it and he's mad. And then he hears a woman scream and then he goes and saves her from the sheriff or the
Yeah.
marshal,
Yes,
who
we
is
find out the marshal also needed to lay low,
the same place.
or at least lick his wounds
Yeah.
because
And
his hand is all
so,
bandaged up. And
yeah. But he is not a very nice drunk.
no,
And so Sean goes in and fights the sheriff, marshal,
yep, saves the lady,
and saves the lady.
knocks him out.
And yeah, or does he knock himself out?
I think he knocks him out with the mirror. He actually,
Uh, but anyway, so and then he falls through a window.
yeah.
Sean does.
Well, the lady helps too. She hits him with the glass bottle.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Oh, did I overlook that? Yes, I did. Darn it.
What?
I was gonna mention in the fight where Roy and Chan meet again,
Yeah.
one of Roy's lady friends gets involved, and
Oh, yeah, that was
she that
that's
was
one of those
great.
things where when you say big fight happens and you could touch on a couple things, but yeah, no, she's she's got Roy's back. She jumps in and starts swinging.
Yeah, and she could throw down too. She holds her own real good.
Yeah.
And then I think at one point you see her like get thrown in the background.
Yeah, but yeah, she's got Roy's back. She's there for it.
Yeah, I totally forgot to mention that, but yeah, that was funny. But anyway, Roy finds Chon after he falls out the window. It's like, "Hey, the sheriff's here," and he's like, "Sheriff's downstairs," and he goes, "No,
Marshall.
he's in there. Marshall's here." He goes, "No, he's in there. I knocked him out." And he goes, "Well, we gotta go. What we're gonna do is we're gonna jump off this balcony onto our horses, but you gotta say yeehaw."
Yeah, the
And he'll
Royal
do it.
Bannon special. That's
Yeah.
what he
So
calls it.
Roy shows him how it's done. Yeehaw, and jumps off and lands on his horse. And Chon kind of says yeehaw and falls.
Yeah.
Still lands on the horse. Then the horse goes down too, though.
Yeah. He's like, "Is my horse
And,
dead?" Come on, horsey.
and then they get surrounded.
Yep. By the marshal who is awake again
Yes,
and his
and
men.
his friends. And now the movie takes an interesting turn because we see that our heroes are tied up and they're at what's his name?
Marshall, Lee Van Cleef,
No,
Roy O'Bannon,
nope,
John
bad
Wayne.
guy.
Oh, Lo Found, Lo Fan.
Lo Fang, Lo Fang's house. They're at Lo Fang's house.
Yes,
I have it written. I have faux long written. It's Lo Fang,
Lo Fong.
Lo Fang's house, and they yeah, we get a nice little reunion from Lo Fang and Chang.
Yes, because they were Imperial Guards together.
They were, and Lo Fang mentions that Chang is essentially a slave to the emperor and can't ever lie or think for himself. He has to follow orders,
Yep,
and cuts his hair off.
yep. Something we didn't touch on at one point. Roy touches it and he gets chastised and says it's important to him.
Right, you don't touch his key. That's what
Yeah.
he calls it. But yeah, after he cuts his hair off, Roy's like, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that. He's very touchy about his hair.
Yep.
Now you've angered him. You're gonna regret that." And now they're getting hanged.
Yeah. Yeah. Lo Fong's like, I don't think I'm going to hang them. They're like, gotcha.
Yep, yep.
Because I mean, they're wanted $1,000, $500 each.
Yeah, no, it's a good chunk of change.
Who gets that money if the marshal finds them?
Marshall does.
That's a reward from the marshal's office, isn't it?
He gets a bonus. They're being hanged.
Yeah. Yeah, they got nooses on their neck. They're at they're on the gallows. The marshal makes a joke about their horses taken to the afterlife because they're hooked up to the hearse.
Yep. And that and that gets Sean thinking, and so he starts making noises at his horse.
Yes, because we glossed over it, but he's been able to call and talk to his horse like he would a cat. You're like, it's not picking up.
Did.
Where you make the clicking noises or other noises, and the
Right.
horse does what horse is gonna do.
And he finds the right one, and the horse charges.
Yep,
And we also see that wifey is there and up to something.
yep. Always got a
And
plan.
and she knows her husband
She does.
very well. And so when she sees the horse take off, she's letting up her sights on Roy's rope.
Yep.
So Chan swings up and first he jumps and gets his arms to his front. And then he climbs up the rope and does some weird little twisty thingy and gets his noose off.
Yeah,
Roy does not. Roy hangs.
yeah. No, Roy's.
Wife, and then Chan's wife
Yeah, Roy gets
shoots.
treated the O'Connell treatment.
Yeah, shoots the rope. He falls, and
he
then they,
he falls into the casket in the hearse.
which nobody wants that.
No, he's like ah.
And then they take off and they get away.
Yeah, yeah. John jumps in the driver's seat. I guess, yeah, the stagecoach driver, the driver's seat, and takes off. They make their
Right?
daring
Yeah,
escape
like any
with
hero
Roy
in a movie.
screaming.
Yes, very heroic scream.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, sure.
ah.
But then they end up at the river, coming up. Roy's trying to come up with his game plan.
Yep.
Chan's not talking to him. Roy's like, "What up, dude?" And Chan's like, I heard you. We're not friends. I'm going alone. Bye.
Yeah, yeah, I heard what you said.
Yeah.
I'm just here to benefit you.
So they split up, and Chan ends up at the quarry. He's looking for the princess. He finds the princess, kind of.
Yeah,
Well, he does. But
yeah,
she doesn't reveal that she's the princess at first. So he's talking to her. And then he discovers that she's the princess. She mentions that she wants to stay because she wants to help the people here.
yeah,
Because she feels she can do more good here than back in China. And then once she reveals that she's the princess. He bows, and she's like, "Stop it!
yeah.
Get out!
She
Knock it off!"
he starts giving her away.
And then he backs out of the tent, and everyone starts bowing. He gives himself away. Lo Fong is like, "Hey, that guy's not supposed to be here."
That guy's supposed to be hung.
And yeah, so Lo Fong chases him down, and we get another fight.
Yep.
And it does not go well for Chan until Roy shows up to help out.
Yeah,
And Roy's like, "What? I followed you."
yeah. Like, hey, I got you. You are my friend. That was just talk.
Yeah. And
Marshall
so they
shows
get,
up at this point too.
does he? I thought they left.
What do your notes say?
Roy shows up. Then we cut to the Imperial Guard meeting up with Lo Fong with the gold. They're doing the exchange now.
Yeah. So the marshals with Roy, Chong, and the princess.
The princess isn't there yet.
Okay, you keep going.
So they're fighting. The princess is back in the tent. Roy shows up to saves Chan from his fight with Lo Fong,
Yeah.
and then they escape together. He who fights and runs away lives to run another day.
Yes.
They escape. Then we cut to the Imperial Guard at the church showing up to meet Lo Fong with the gold, and then Chan and Roy show up and has a change of heart. That's in my notes. I skipped a little bit. So Roy and Chan show up and to interrupt the deal,
Yes.
and then we get kind of a standoff because Chan shows up and then Roy shows up and he's got a gun pointed at Lo Fong, who's got a gun pointed at Chan.
Yeah.
So they're there to essentially arrest him or something.
Yeah, because the marshal shows up at that point.
But the marshal and Lo Fong are in cahoots, so the marshal's
Yes.
actually a bad guy.
Right. So there's some standoff going on.
Yes. And then we get the Imperial Guard says they're there to take the princess back to China. Chan says that the princess don't want to go back to China.
That's the change of
And
heart. He's like, okay, we'll let her do what she wants.
yeah. And so eventually a fight breaks out.
Yes. A big. I guess there's three different parties there. So the three-way battle. The Imperial Guards fighting Chong, the Marshal fighting Roy, and then Lo Fong going after the princess who's trying to escape and be
Yes.
helped out by Chong.
Yes. And so we
He's
get a
doing
huge
Chong Wayne's doing the heavy lifting in this fight.
as every fight, but we
Yeah,
get it's a pretty long epic battle scene.
yeah,
And so we're gonna just do the cliff notes on that, where Chong's fighting the Imperial Guards. Um, Eventually, he bests them, kind of.
yeah,
Once they realize that the princess is in mortal danger, they stop fighting Chan. They send Chan to save the princess. Roy and the marshal are having a shootout. They're both hiding behind pillars, exchanging some friendly banter and trash talk along the way.
yeah. He's like, "Am I even
Um,
getting close to hitting you?"
It's
Like,
like, no,
no,
how did you survive this long? Like, well, the guns are weird, and it's not, these aren't familiar. You have my gun.
right, right. He's like, "Oh, with my own guns."
So
But it's like,
Chan
"Yeah,
is chasing,
you've
but
almost killed me like 14 times already. 15, 16, 17."
but then we get Chan chasing Lo Fong, and they start moving up higher and higher till eventually
Yeah,
they get to the top of the bell tower. Um, both their heads are under the bell, and it gets rung, and that sucks.
yeah,
And then Chan gets thrown down the bell tower,
yep.
which reminded me of the fact that Jackie Chan does his own stunts and he's 51 years old, and that looked like it hurt.
Yeah, there's some of the stunts in there. I mean, because he's falling, he grabs a rope, he twists, he falls again, and hits something. It's like, ooh,
Yeah, yeah, he does all that, and
yeah,
even if you're Even if you do it right, that's gotta be painful.
Yeah. Well, and also, what is there? There's the bit too where he's hanging onto the board and they're stomping on his hands and he flips over and
Yeah,
yeah,
just all kinds of yeah, his commitment to his craft
amazing.
is un is unmatched, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree.
But this fight's winding down. We see Roy is out of bullets except for one. Um, and the
Martial lies to
marshals
him.
marshal lies to him. He's like, "Tell you what, since you only got one bullet, I'll put only one bullet in my gun, and we'll do it fair. How does that sound?" And Roy's like, "I'll believe you. Sure.
Yeah. As the marshal's loading up the gun fully.
Yes.
I see they loading up both of them, right?
Yeah, he's loading up both of his pistols. But then we get um, now we're down at the bottom of the bell tower, and the princess joins the fight to help out Chan. She's injured as well,
Yeah.
and Chan puts an end to it by wrapping a rope around Lo Fang's neck and then
Releasing the bell.
releasing the bell to drop. And that strings up Lo Fang by his head and pulls him up quite high by his head.
Yeah, but I mean, you never heard anybody say he was hoisted up by his head when the rope is around his neck.
Now you have. He was hoisted up by his head. I like that. And then the princess makes a diving rescue to save Chan from getting crushed by the bell.
Yes, yes, she saves him from the bell, for whom the
We
bell
cut back.
tolls.
We cut back to Roy and the marshal, and Marshall's like, on the count of three, we come out and handle it. And Roy's
Yep.
like, yeah, but I count. And Marshall's like, sure. And so Roy
Yeah,
counts to about five. If you add the two and a half, two and three quarters, seven eighths.
yeah,
And he comes out, and as soon as he crests the pillar, the marshal unloads.
yes, shot after shot, just pow, pow,
Shot
pow,
after
pow, pow,
shot.
pow.
Yep. And Roy is bobbing and weaving and takes aim and shoots his one shot. And the marshal stops shooting and goes, now, how did that happen? And you see it goes right through his sheriff's badge into his heart, and he drops down.
Yep,
And I don't think he's going to be okay from that.
I don't think so either.
And then you see Roy's like, oh, how did that happen? And then he kind of opens up his arms.
Yeah, he lifts his arms up and he sees all the bullet holes in his under sleeves of the. He's wearing one of those monk robes.
Yeah, that's right, because they were wearing
It
monk
was a
robes.
disguise.
Yeah. But yeah, that monk robe's full of holes, and he's like, "It's a miracle. I'm
I'm
invincible."
untouchable. Yeah,
Yeah,
I cannot be killed.
which, yeah, absolutely not the case. But it looks like everything's getting wrapped up nicely. The princess, uh, Chan has another change of heart and says the princess is staying here.
Yes.
Um, and it seems like everything's being wrapped up nicely to have a good, all happy ending.
Yep.
And then we get Wallace is back.
After a brief instant with Sean thinking Roy left him.
Right, yeah. Roy thinks that Chan took the gold.
No,
Nope.
Sean thinks that Roy took
Chan
the
thinks
gold.
that Roy took the gold and left. And then we get that reveal of like, nope, he's over here.
He's like,
It's all you
"Hey, all
think.
you think about is money."
Yeah. But yeah, we have another standoff. Wallace is outside, and Roy's telling Chan, he's like, no, look, I can't be killed. I'm invincible. We're just gonna bust out there. It's gonna be great. We're gonna win. And Chan's like, okay, let's
Let's
do
do
it.
it.
Give me a gun.
Yeah. And he spins the gun. And he's like, "I am teaching you things."
Yep. And then they run out there, and Wallace and crew have their hands up, and they're like, "Hey, buddy!"
Fun
And
fact:
what?
the scene where they run out of the church and it's an homage to the end of the movie Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid.
Oh, nice.
Yep, where they come running out the exact same way.
Oh, that's cool. I like that they do all those nods.
Yeah, it's good when I mean that's a huge thing with Western movies. It feels like there's more homages and callbacks and things that kind of weave in and out.
Makes it
Mostly with
fun.
West, it does.
But
But yeah,
but
they
yeah,
come
so
running out, and you hear you hear bullets flying, guns going off. You're like, "Oh no, our guys!" But
and then the other guys got their guns up. And they're like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" So, and then you
yeah,
see that that wifey pulled through again and got her entire tribe to come and help out.
Right. Right, and Roy kinda freaks out, he's like, "Oh gosh, we're surrounded."
Yeah, yeah, because Roy doesn't know.
Right, and
And
John's like, "No,
Sean's
no,
like, "No,
it's my
no,
family, it's
no,
my
it's my
family."
family." And,
Which is great.
yeah, and
He's embraced
Wallace
it.
invites him to, join the gang again,
"Yes, I've reconsidered. You wanna come on back? We miss you."
and Roy turns it down and says he's gonna go a new way, and they're gonna leave, and we have a little, we go back and we have a little party,
Yep.
and it turns out that Chon's wife has taken quite the shine to Roy
Yeah.
and speaks English apparently.
Yeah, she's one of the few people in the tribe that speak English, if not the only
Yeah,
one. It's like, You talk too much, Roy."
yeah. That's yeah, it was what a great reveal of like, you know what's been going on this whole time. You've heard every single conversation.
Yeah.
That leaves Chan open to marrying the princess,
Yes.
who takes his hand at the end.
Yep.
And then we cut to some time later,
Mhm.
and Roy and Chan are now lawmen.
They are.
And we see the train's about to be robbed, and Roy is offended that the gang robbing the train is using his move
Poorly, but using his move.
poorly. Yes, so they're gonna go and arrest them and do their job because they are lawmen.
Yep.
And then we get a blooper reel,
We also
which
find
most
out
Jackie.
Roy's real name.
Oh yeah, Wyatt Earp.
Yep.
And Sean's like, well, that's not a good name.
Yeah. Yeah. But,
Yeah,
yeah, and it's a
and
fun
now we
fact
get the
too, I
blooper
mean,
reel.
Wyatt Earp in the historical context, he was a gambler who became a lawman, so similar
Oh,
to
nice.
similar to Roy, he was a little more shady, but,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
wow.
But yes, then we get a fantastic blooper reel.
Yeah, great blooper reel. And then we roll credits.
Yeah. Do you wanna give your final thoughts?
I could give my final thoughts.
Or you want me to go first since you've been talking?
You could go first. I'll let you
Okay.
go first.
I mean, I picked this movie for a reason. I hadn't seen it in years, and I saw a couple clips. I'm like, "Oh, we should do this movie." And for me, it didn't disappoint. I was happy with it. It's a good buddy western. I've made a few comparisons, but um, and it was. I don't know if I would have made the comparisons had I not seen Frisco Kid like within the last year, because I hadn't seen that in a long time. But um, it's a lot of fun. All the homages in the movie are great. It's a good, fun, heartwarming story,
I agree.
and I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Um, my turn.
Yeah, yeah, your turn.
Uh, I thought I was going to enjoy this movie going into it.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did. This was fantastic. I saw that it was rated PG-13, and then when it comes up and it gives a disclaimer on some of the stuff of why it's PG-13, I was like, "Uh-oh, how's this gonna go?" Not bad at
Yeah.
all. I I'm not even sure it really deserved the PG-13 rating.
Yeah. I mean, there were some language moments in there.
Yeah, but even that was fleeting. So yeah, it was
Yeah, but there's
hysterical. Jackie Chan in his element. You have great comedy, smart writing, uh, terrific story. Yeah, this movie totally hit on all levels for me. I own it now.
oh, good.
I will
Did
watch
you
it again.
did it feel like the first time watching it for you?
Yeah,
Okay,
it did. I
because
think I had seen.
I
I
was gonna say
recognized the scene in the bell tower. That was
okay,
all I recognized.
okay. 'Cause I do remember us watching it younger when I mean you were
Yeah, no memory of it.
okay because I remember us quoting the pea shirt, the wet
No
shirt
memory
don't
of that
break.
either. None whatsoever. Nope. That's completely gone out of my memory.
Ah,
So yeah,
but
this felt like the first time watching this movie. The only part that
I'm
was familiar was the bell tower at the end.
good. I'm glad it felt like a first time watch because those can always be fun.
It was. It was a lot of fun. And Rachel hadn't seen it in a long time, and so we thoroughly enjoyed watching this movie together. It was great. I had trouble taking notes on this movie
Yeah,
because I was getting so wrapped up in the enjoyment of it.
nice.
Yeah. Well, that wraps up my final thoughts. You got anything
Okay.
else you want to say?
No, no, I don't think so. It was, I mean, we both in consensus. We like this movie. We'll watch it again.
Yep.
Um, the nods to other movies and other things are fun, and Jackie Chan's always a good family fun time.
Yeah, he is.
So yeah, I think we're going into the next part where we find out what's next.
Yes. So I have a movie,
Okay,
and then I have a backup movie.
okay,
But actually, Shanghai Nights. Let's do the sequel. Let's do
okay,
it. Let's do it back to back.
okay. Was that your
I wasn't
backup, or
sure.
is that what you wanted to do? Just
That
let's
was
do
what
the
I was gonna
sequel.
do.
Okay.
But you had mentioned with the Mummy Returns, you had trouble getting into the cover because of
Oh, don't worry
it
about
feeling
that.
redundant, and
This
so I was
cover's
like,
different
the
enough.
yeah. No, I know. I wasn't sure if that meant that you got kind of burnt out doing the same thing twice in a row. So I had a backup in case you were like, I don't want to do a sequel.
No, no, I think that's great. I like the idea of doing the sequel next. Um,
But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I didn't want. I was since you mentioned Shanghai Noon, I was like, oh yeah, Shanghai Nights is next. But I wanted to leave it as a surprise this round.
Fantastic.
But yeah, yeah, let's go right into the sequel.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Well, thank
Um,
you to everyone who joined us in 1880s Nevada as we rescued the princess.
yep.
Join us next time as we figure out where our heroes go to next. If you'd like to reach
Yes.
out to us, you can do so. watchitbropodcast@gmail.com. We are on the X, formerly known as Twitter, at watchitbropod, Facebook, and Instagram under that same handle. If you like us, if you rated us, if you would like to subscribe to us, that actually helps us out a lot, and we would appreciate the uh, the attention. Our intro and outro music is now provided by my lovely wife. That intro being Blue, that outro being Orlando. And as always, if we could get it together, thank you for watching.